charge with the first executive of University of the Gambia Medical Students Association served for 1 year. And then it comprises mainly the second cohort of medical students and the third cohorts. So we served for 1 year, and from there on we organized another election, and the second executive started from there on. Yes, then the positions which were available were the president, the vice president, secretary general, assistant secretary general, treasurer, and social welfare secretary, and auditor. Those were the main positions which were available then. Others which I might not have recalled, but these were the key positions which were available. And the first executive, as you might have known, John Jaba was our president, and we had Lamin Makalo as our vice president, who was in the third cohort, and I served as the first secretary general of the UniGaMSA. And Bulli Kamara served as an assistant secretary general, whilst Dr. Abdullah Bajan served as the PRO, and Mariama Baji served as the treasurer. So Miniru Sabej was also working under Mariama Baji. Yes, there are a lot of achievements. I would not call that whether we have any setback. I know there were challenges. I would call them challenges. But the achievements was that because we have realized then that as medical students, our problems were unique to our problems, because by then there was another association in the school called MEDSA, which comprises of medical students, nurses, and public students. But we came to realize that we have a unique problem. And then among those unique problems was, as part of the second cohort and in the third cohort, we were unfortunate not to have some of the privileges the first cohort enjoy, like scholarships. And then those scholarships, the WHO was helping the first cohort. But the second cohort, one of our biggest challenges was lack of textbooks in the school, and then also lecturers. But for lack of textbooks, we were mostly depending on photocopying textbooks. And then some of us who were financially challenged couldn't photocopy most of those textbooks. Although the WHO lecturer, Dr. Kamara, who was lecturing anatomy, was photocopying anatomy textbooks and then bringing them. But other subjects, we couldn't photocopy them. So we made it as a priority to try to get textbooks for the school. So we work with partners like the proprietor of Afrimed, Dr. Jain, and then also we work with UniGaMSA then. And through those partners, we were able to have some money which we use to buy medical textbooks from Timbuktu. And then the proprietor of Timbuktu was also very helpful in trying to give us some discount. So that was a major success. And we were able to also have a sort of a small library where we positioned those books, and then students were able to go and then get textbooks and then read them. And then another major achievement was to bring medical students under one umbrella. And then that has fostered relationships among ourselves. And then we were able to at least do a lot of things together. So the first executive, more or less, was bringing people together and getting textbooks. Those were the biggest priority. Whilst when the second executive took over, we now concentrated on working on getting lab coats, which were also not available. And then we worked with UniGaMSA to get more lab coats and then more textbooks. So those were our biggest achievements. So the challenges here and there are many, including lack of lecturers, lack of other textbooks, and then the mobility, traveling from one end to the other to attend lectures. Those were our biggest challenges, which we coped and then we managed through. Yes, we did. The second executive was lucky to be invited to attend IFAMSA, International Federation of Medical Students Association. But this one was through their Asia Pacific Medical Students association chapter, which we went to attend a symposium in Taiwan, Taipei. And then 4 medical students from UniGaMSA were sponsored through the then Taiwanese embassy in the Gambia, and then with the government of the Gambia to go and attend that symposium in Taiwan. And then where it was a unique opportunity for us to showcase our medical school and then to also showcase our country. Many people don't know the existence of Gambia, talk less of the medical school. So we were able to at least bring to light that there is a medical school, and then through that medical school, we could get a lot of things for the country. So from there on, we were able to work on joining the FAMSA, but we went to attend that, and then 4 people went to attend that symposium in Taiwan. I was then the president, that was myself, because I was the second president of UniGaMSA. I led the delegation comprising of the then Secretary General, Bulde Kamara, and the Treasurer, Mariama Baji, and the Auditor, Minim Savage. Then the 4 of us went to Taiwan to attend the symposium, which lasted for almost about 9 days. Yeah, they should know where we have started and where we are. And then most of the achievements they are enjoying today, including the lab coats, including some of the books in the library, and then were the hard work of the then UniGaMSA. Even lecturers were then not available. So but we fought tooth and nail to make sure that there are lecturers available, and also we encourage each other to come and then lecture in the school. That's why we are having some of us lecturing in the medical school currently, because we felt that this is an obligation we had for the school. So I think the current group of students should also realize that they have an obligation for the school to come and teach. Those who will be specializing, when they specialize in any area, they should come and teach. We are like lecturers in the school. So they should take that one, and also they should be there for each other, support each other through these processes, because without that one, an individual success is not the success which we want. We want a collective success. So students should learn that one, and then they should participate in UniGaMSA activities, because for any association to prosper, the membership of that association must take ownership of the association, participate in their activities, pay your contributions, your union dues, and any other things which the association will be doing, you participate in it. That will encourage the executive to work harder, and knowing that they are serving people who really appreciate that the executive is serving for them.
When the association was formed, one of the first activities that we did, especially from the IPR department, was to go out on sort of like a sensitization. So in that process, we visited the different ministries. Of course, we started with the university, the other ministries, higher education, health, and also parastatals, NGOs, and then also we even had meetings with diplomatic missions in the country. And as a result of this outreach, we had some activities that we actually were able to do with some of these organizations. For example, UniGaMSA, we did some work with them, and also other organizations. So through the process, yes, UniGaMSA actually had acclaim both within the university and also across the country. With the institutions that we collaborated with. So basically, I served as the IPRO for both the first and the second executive council. Well, the activities we engaged with, we did quite a number of sensitization. We selected certain communities where we did sensitization on HIV, because then at that point, the National AIDS Secretariat, which was one of the organizations we actually collaborated, was involved in a lot of sensitization activity at that point. So we did a lot of sensitization work with them. So in addition, of course, we obviously we engage within the university community also. We did health talks. At the point of us starting, it was at the inception. So resources were quite finite, so we were limited in what could actually be done. But we did a lot of sensitization work within the university student community and also outside in the local community. So we targeted certain communities like Gunju, where we had something like a 2-week activity in which we did health talks on HIV, on tuberculosis, and also on simple things like nutrition, breastfeeding, and so on. Okay, so when we were starting, actually, of course, not everyone had smartphones at that time, and most of these apps were not being used also during that time. So the main ways of communicating actually was usually through our messages. The good thing, however, was that at that time, most of the students were also residing within the campus of the School of Nursing, so access was not really difficult. So, and also there was a resource center that was set up. So, in terms of communication, text messaging was used regularly by the IPRO and also the Secretary General. In addition, we would also post our notice on the notice board for students to know. And we organize regular congresses also. We would have at least 2 or 3 congresses in the year. And finally, we published a newsletter, although it was only produced annually. But we had a newsletter that was called the Internis, that basically summarized the activities of the association as it was then. So these were the main ways that we were communicating. So mainly it was through text messaging, producing posters, and of course word of mouth, since most of the students were accessible. Yeah, so just to, UniGaMSA was formed for a purpose. The university when we were starting was really, I'm sure students are saying things are challenging now, but it was even worse then. There are a lot of resources that were not available. So the whole point of forming UniGaMSA was to create an enabling environment for the students. And some of the achievements we had was that we were able to, through our contacts with this organization, for example, GAMSA that I mentioned, we were able to procure textbooks and had a mini library that was used by the students. And also we talked about the resource center that we had, which we were helped by what's his name again, Dr. Janya at AfriMed. So at the point that UniGaMSA was coming, it was a very crucial organization. We actually able to stand here today and say that we actually helped a lot of students at that point in time. Yes. So that was a very important point in the work of the organization.